r/ask Reddit. What was your biggest treat yourself regret? Thought I've never been on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise now. So booked a 2-week Caribbean cruise in a suite with the wife, who, on arrival, decided she didn't like me anymore and spent 2 weeks avoiding me. So I spent 2 weeks on my own on this bloody ship. We're divorced now. This is why I have never gone on a cruise. I really like my wife. Our issue on the cruise was that between food and drink you want to just veg for a day, but the rooms are terrible for it. A pair of Louboutins. Not comfortable. The sole wears away incredibly quickly. Heels easily get scraped on grates. I live somewhere with lots of grates. All you can eat sushi bar. Did the math on how much sushi I had to eat to save money from just buying the rolls individually. I hit my goal. But at what cost? I was trying not to throw up for the whole drive home. And spent the rest of the day in bed clutching my stomach and rethinking my life. How much was your AYCE? Place I used to go to prior to COVID had a $16 AYCE lunch. Break even at 2 or 3 rolls was a no-brainer when we were in a sushi mood. Every AYCE sushi joint near me was $30-35 US. So if you could get 2 rolls at $12 each, the AYCE wasn't worth it. Bought a PS3 when it came out and had to return it to pay rent. I had the same thing. Bought a PS3, but needed money so I returned it a week later. Bought a pair of used snowmobiles for $2,000. Had them for 2 years. First year we both got the flu the 1 week the snowmobile trails were open, so never used them. Second year my wife was pregnant, so we decided to sell them. Ends up one no longer wants to start and the other one runs but now has issues. Ended up selling them for $500. Never once used them besides unloading them from the trailer when we bought them. Where do you live where the snowmobile trails are only open for 1 week? Lower Wisconsin. Was a shit year for snow. We got 6 inches, then it warmed up and it all melted. Just kept repeating that cycle. Other years usually get a solid month. Bought a sandwich after work. Nearly choked on it. I was insanely broke as a 22-year-old and just landed a new job. I was so excited about it and decided to celebrate by buying chicken nuggets and a caramel frappe from McDonald's. The bleeding from the first damn chicken nugget managed to cut the inside of my throat and I couldn't speak for 2 days. Bought a BMW 135i when I already had a perfectly good Nissan 350Z that was paid off. I was young and dumb and had just started making serious money for the first time in my life. So when I looked at that monthly payment I said this is fine. I can totally make this, not taking into account all of the other bills that can suddenly crop up. One of the worst decisions I ever made. Easily. An acquaintance of mine had a Toyota RAV4 and traded it in for a used BMW X3. Not even a year later the X3 broke and he had to take the bus for a while because he couldn't afford the repair cost. He ended up buying an old Corolla shitbox while the X3 sat in his garage. I haven't heard from him so I'm not sure what happened later. I once bought a good quality regulation pool table, 8 feet x 44, with all the accessories for about $4,000. But after moving to a new location, I regretted the purchase because there was no room for it, other than to give up the dining room and replace the dining room chandelier with a billiards light fixture. Bought a telescope, but then I needed a camera to take pics. Then I needed a camera and smaller scope to guide it. Then I needed a better, more expensive mount. Then I needed another camera to help set up the more expensive mount. Then I needed cases and storage for this stuff. And another camera. And a star tracker. Then all of a sudden I have thousands in gear that I've used exactly never because it's freezing and cloudy most of the good viewing season anyways. I have a friend who did the same thing. Started with a decent telescope and just kept buying all manner of lenses and things, spending crazy amounts which just kept spiraling out of control. If you're not careful, the costs of the hobby can be astronomical. Ate decadently to reward myself for exercising, completely undermining my efforts to get in shape. Every single week. I spent around £300 on all the Talisman board games and a further £200 on a custom made box to keep them all in. Largely due to COVID. I've played them once. I caught myself but I was about to buy a 3080 off eBay for about $800. It turns out it was just a picture of it and the goal was to get bots to buy it, but I didn't read the description and almost bought it. Maybe I am a bot. I bought a laptop from Razer. Worst decision ever. Already had to send it back to them once. Now it's just out of warranty and having more problems. Never again. I've always thought about it like this. Take however much that laptop is and invest in a tower. Yeah, it's nice to be able to do what you want wherever, but I find laptops, even high-end ones, become trash after a year. My PC is almost 8 years old but still runs like new with only one upgraded part. Even if that laptop was only $500, you can still get a decent enough pre-made tower, then learn how to improve it so it runs forever. I dropped $1,000 on a gaming PC when I was a sophomore in college. Took out a credit card to put it on that and overestimated my ability to consistently make more than the minimum payments. Ended up finally paying it off like 2 years later, having paid probably an extra $300 in interest, but learned a valuable lesson and also had a better PC than all my friends. That's a ducking cheap lesson on credit cards. Add a zero onto that for me when I was an idiot 24-year-old, and I thought I got off easy compared to some of my friends. I had $20,000 in debt from my mid-20s. I'm about to zero them out by the end of February. I'm 31. Went to Vegas and spent more money than I had intended. Had a blast, but flash forward a month later I had nothing to pay my car payment, and in Florida if you are late 1 month they can repo your car. They did. Pretty much everything I impulse bought while unemployed during quarantine. Most Apple products. Bought an iPad, so now when I'm bored of scrolling on my phone I can go be bored scrolling on a bigger version of my phone. Every time I've bought a sex toy, it's great until I nut, then it's great. I spent $200 on this. Getting the Cirrus XM deal, $30 6 mo, for my car since when I do drive, it's cross-state, and then forgetting to cancel threatened to cancel, so I got charged $120 for the next 6 months. Bought a ticket to a concert as a birthday present to myself. Got way too drunk and got a DUI and totaled my car. After getting another DUI, I realized I had a problem. Got help, and I'm over 3 years sober now. Had not eaten Burger King in 10 years and last week a buddy at work said he was going. Figured, man, I miss double whoppers, I want one. Got it. Loved it. Then an hour later I'm eating Pepto and running back and forth to the bathroom. Yeah, there was a reason I didn't eat it for 10 years. My darling boyfriend got into streaming when the pandemic hit and we went into lockdown. He gained a small following speedrunning games. He had some fun. During the height of all this, I thought I'd give it a try. I streamed my Sims builds like once or twice, but for a multitude of reasons just thought it wasn't for me. One of those reasons being I don't know anything about the tech. I just swapped out my laptop for my BF's when I streamed. My boyfriend has an Elgato capture thing. When he saw that I wanted to get into it, he bought me one as well. Shit was not cheap as the world was shut down and everyone and their mother wanted one of these things. I didn't qualify for unemployment and he was making only about 2/3 of his normal paycheck from pandemic relief unemployment, so I was not happy at all. His reasoning was that we can both stream at the same time and do dual streams. He had such good intentions, but for someone who knows so much about the technology and setup, he ought to have known that we combined simply don't have a powerful enough computer to dual stream the way he wanted to. I know he just wanted this to be a fun activity we could both do together, so he treated himself, and me I guess, to a second Elgato. It's never been used. Now we are back to work and he doesn't stream at all. So now we have 2 unused Elgatos. Was feeling terrible because of a recent breakup and a few other things. One day I got 1k COVID straight to my bank account, so I decided to go out and get some heroin. As I had been clean for several months and felt like I could treat myself and temporarily feel a little better. Just this once. Well, it's been months now and I am again trapped in this stupid addiction. Though I am slowly digging myself out, At least I learned that for me when it comes to opioids it's all or nothing, as when I wasn't using it was super easy to stay clean and I never had any cravings, but once I decide to use just once I always go back to daily use eventually. This time it took many months but eventually it always gets to that point, 100% of the time with no exception. I was manic and went shopping. $4,000 LASIK surgery, new furniture, new MacBook, bunch of shoes and clothes, trip to Mexico, drugs and alcohol. I kept telling myself you deserve it, treat yourself. Few months later and working on paying it off. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.